Let me read few verses from the Song of Solomon, 8th chapter. Then I will try to explain and bring the truth out of this powerful, wonderful book. And I'm reading this because many of you might not have read this book. Because when I was a small boy, my mother made me to read every day the Bible. Without reading, I never had a coffee. But she was very particular that I should not read Song of Solomon. And since she was particular that I should not read, and I was reading again and again. That is human nature. And so I am well acquainted with this book in many ways. And God gave me a lot of insights from this book. And I strongly believe that will be a great advice as well as a guideline. Who is this coming up from the wilderness, leaning upon her beloved? I awakened you under the apple tree. There your mother brought you forth. There she who bore you brought you forth. Then Sulamite to the beloved said, set me as a seal upon your heart, as a seal upon your arm. For love is as strong as death, jealousy as cruel as the grave. Its flames are flames of fire, a most vehement flame. Many waters cannot quench love, nor can the floods drown it. If a man would give for love all the wealth of his house, it would be utterly despised. Then the Solomite's brothers, we have a little sister, and she has no breasts. What shall we do for our sister in the day when she is spoken for? If she is a wall, we'll build upon her a battlement of silver. And if she is a door, we will enclose her with boards of cedar. Then the Sulamite, I am a wall, and my breasts like towers. Then I became in his eyes as one who found peace. Solomon had a vineyard at Baal-Hamon. He leased the vineyard to keepers. Everyone was to bring for its fruit 1,000 silver coins. Then she said to Solomon, my own vineyard is before me. You, O Solomon, may have 1,000, and those who tend its fruit 200. I would like to bring a brief preface so that we can understand this particular chapter which talks about the culmination of love. Friends, I don't know how many of you know the background of this book and the story behind it. But I would like to point out one thing. A poor little girl was guarding her, not her vineyard, but some other's vineyard. And there she found a man who was a shepherd. And they fell in love, and the love was growing. And she never knew it was King Solomon. She thought he was a shepherd. Then one fine morning, after the marriage, Solomon brought her to the vineyard, to the court, that is palace. She was agitated, totally agitated, taken back. She thought she has been kidnapped by the king. She couldn't understand the real lover. She couldn't understand his love. And everything was so dark in spite of every good things around. But she was guarded by 60 soldiers. You can read that. 60 soldiers were guarding her so that she may be kept safe inside. As the days went by, this lady was totally taken by selfishness. If you read the 5th chapter, she was on the bed, and the beloved came and knocked the door, and she was very hesitant to open. She said, how can I put on the garment again? My hands are full of perfumes. How can I go and open it? And the beloved was knocking and knocking and knocking. And then, after some time, she realized and she went to the door, and the lover was not there. She ran and went to search for him. She was beaten, robbed, striped. She had a very bad experience. And then again she found her beloved, and they were together. And the 6th and 7th chapter talks about their conversation. And in the 8th chapter, the culmination of love is explained here. I would bring only 3 things for your remembrance as well as for you to munch, especially to Abraham and Adeline. Here, people began to see her. Who is this coming up from the wilderness? Leaning upon her beloved. Let me bring 3 important factors of the marriage. Marriage can be horrible if it's not understood properly. That was the first lesson these 2 people should learn. She had her own dreams. She had her own imaginations. And Solomon had his own imagination. They both were in love, but not understanding each other properly. Not knowing each other properly. They saw the outward signs only, and they were, even though they were drawn, but they were not drawn inwardly. And that is why the girl was in horrible condition. I'm not having time to explain the whole thing because it will take 8 hours. I want to tell you, friends, she couldn't accept to start with Solomon in the new place, in the new way in which he behaved. Because in the jungle, she saw him as an ordinary shepherd boy. His behavior was different. Now his kingly garment and kingly dress and the way in which he behaves is totally unacceptable to her. Because the marriage is in trouble in anybody's family. Because you have your own concept and you want the marriage should be fit into it. And you start thinking in that direction, definitely it is going to be like a house arrest. Even though she was in the palace, she felt, I'm arrested. There, even though I was taking care of another man's vineyard, but I was able to move around freely. I was able to go along with this shepherd boy. But now I'm cornered. Many things are expected because now she is a queen. She must walk like a queen, act like a queen, talk like a queen, which is unusual, aligned to her. In marriage life, dear friends, as I said, it's not only for them. If you start acting, if you display something which is not of your own, you will be in trouble. That's a problem. We have got our own dreams, we have got our own concepts, we have got our own convictions, but we find it difficult to accept the new situation, new role, when it is given thoughts on us sometimes. Then there was no other go. The girl was trapped or the man was trapped. In some families, man is trapped, not the girl. And then it became a life and they are acquainted with that. Then after that, the self began to rule. That's what you can read in the 5th chapter. It's a beautiful book, interesting book. If you meditate word by word, it will take the whole life, I can say. In the 5th chapter, she was, let me read a few things for you. She says, I sleep, my heart is awake. No proper sleep. Hello? Where there is selfishness, sleepless nights will be yours. If you are governed by yourself, I tell you, you will have sleepless nights. She heard the voice of the beloved. He knocks, saying, "Open for me, my sister, my love, my dove, my perfect one. My head is covered with dew, locks with drops of night." And immediately she said, "I have taken off my robe. How can I put it on? I have washed my feet. How can I defile them?" You can read, keep on reading. In the marriage life, the trouble starts with many people because they start thinking about themselves. She lost the purpose for which elated. Sometime man lost the purpose. Whoever it may be, it is applicable for both. When somebody forgets the purpose of their existence, purpose of their life, then self reigns. And I can give you 31 symptoms of the exposure of self. 31. Everyday one. It will be arrogant, it will be insecure, and it will not willing to listen to anyone. It will not be available for any counsel. Thing, I am hurt. That will be a dominating factor for any marriage. She was suffering that here. A man or a woman will be suffered if self is dominating their married life. Then how come this lady is now walking in the wilderness? How come she is leaning totally on the beloved? People began to wonder, hey, this is the girl. This is the one. I would like to point out, as I said, the culmination of love. Now only love is understood. And they understood very well, saying, many waters cannot quench love, nor the flood can drown it. And all the wealth of the whole world would be utterly despised before love. Because now love takes the role. Love takes the place. When there is love, it can go any mile to walk in any place in wilderness. Because love makes us to depend. It is a very good spiritual picture also. As long as you are depending on God totally, saturated by His love, you can walk anywhere, in any time, in any place. This lady, not willing to get out of the bed, is now willing to walk in the wilderness. What a tremendous change. The attitude. The first thing I would like to say, love's attitude. The culmination of love will be celebrated if your attitude is right. Friends, it's not only for Abraham and Adeline. If you want to enjoy the culmination of the peak of love, you must have the right attitude. I am leaning on Him. My life, my family is leaning totally depending on Him. Here the church and the Lord, the people of God and the Lord, totally depending on Him. That means I lean and I'm willing to go wherever He goes. As unit, it is great to celebrate 25 years. But your children already warned you that we will watch you for the next 25 years and follow you. Do not forget that. Because your dependence on God and God alone will make them strong enough, and you are going to leave a legacy behind in the church, in the children, in the society. I challenge you both, you got a great purpose of God behind you. God has chosen you in a wonderful way by shedding His precious blood. United you as a unit. Now, if you enjoy the culmination of love, you both should lean on Him, whether it is wilderness or whether it is prosperity. Sometimes the prosperity makes you selfish. Friends, I don't have time to elaborate the whole thing. The 5th chapter talks about the prosperity and everything available, made it to think only selfish. The couple will be selfish if they start thinking, I'm having this, forgetting about the very purpose. And now, they're willing to walk in the wilderness because they are leaning on the Lord. That is the culmination, number 1. Number 2, I would like to say, this girl, let me go back to the story so that I can relate. In the 1st chapter, if you read, she was despised by her own brothers. She said, do not look upon me because I am dark, because the sun has tainted me. My mother's son were angry with me. They made me the keeper of the vineyards, not my own, but I had to keep somebody else. I became a security guard for somebody else because of the anger of my own brothers. Those brothers started having a concern for this lady. Her attitude changed. And now people around her own family people known her, they all changed their thinking. They started worrying about, hey, we have a small sister. We must do something for her. If she is a wall, we will build upon her. If she is a door, we must enclose her with cedar and all. They started thinking. Previously, they were despising her. Previously, they were taking job from her. Previously, they were making money out of her. But now, because now this girl is depending on the love and depending on the master, depending on the lover, the attitudes of others are changing. Do you want to change environment? Do you want to change environment where you feel everybody is taking care of me, concerned about me? The key is the love exhibited. That will be exhibited when you lean on your beloved. Then everybody will start thinking, we have a small sister, we must take care of her, we must build her. See, they never knew she's already matured enough. She's grown. They never knew because they neglected. But now she said, I'm a wall. Hey, don't worry. I'm okay. As long as I'm on my beloved, I'm okay. As a family, as long as I'm on the beloved, I'm okay. The culmination of love makes others to accept you, worry about you, take care of you. Why there is a celebration today? The friends wanted you to be happy. They want to express that we are taking care of you. We love you. We want to do something for you. And because you lean on the Lord as a couple. The third point I would like to point out is very important. And many of you may be connected with missions. I want to show you an important truth from this chapter. When she realized love cannot be quenched by anything, love, even floods cannot quench it, even the whole world cannot buy it, this love is supreme, then immediately her commitment is going beyond limit. That's what the Bible says. Solomon had a vineyard at Baal Haman. He leased the vineyard to keepers. Everyone was to bring for its fruit 1,000 silver coins. Listen, Solomon had a vineyard and leased out and expected every vineyard keeper to bring 1,000 pounds, silver coins. Immediately she said, I have my own. I give it. I will bring 1,000 as well as I will add 200 silver coins for the keepers also. I will give 1,200 silver coins, even though it's mine. That is only applicable for the people, those who are leasing out that ground. But now my love touches the peak. Lord, my love for you touches the peak. I am going the second mile, third mile, fourth mile, any mile. Shall I ask a question to others before I am asking? I ask these fellow people. Is your love for God goes beyond his expectation? Sometimes we are willing to do anything because it is demanded. Here, she is willing to do beyond demands, beyond her territory, beyond the boundary, because she enjoys the love. As a couple, you try to enjoy God's love every day from now on. In a more special way, nothing can quench the love which we have for the Lord or for each other. Then we can go any mile beyond our territory. May the Lord richly bless you so that he can give you the grace. That is possible only because of this. She said, I become in his eyes as one who found peace. தமிழ்ல ரொம்ப அழகா இருக்கு. அவருடைய கண்களில் கடாட்சம் பெறலானேன். அவர் கண்களில் கடாட்சம் பெறலானேன். I want to encourage you. People enjoy love in this world, but here comes the grace. This particular verse, she said, I'm a wall, and I got grace in his sight. And because of that grace, I can go beyond the boundaries, beyond the expectation. Cling on to the grace also, along with love. If you expect love, you may be only love, then again you will be in trouble. But if you add grace with love, then you will go any mile for him to fulfill the purpose and the yearning and the dreams of our children. Next 25 years, you will be getting stronger, bigger, better, higher. May the Lord's good hand be upon you. Thank you.